You are putting all your money on the same horse. Crisis. Existential one. I found a video on fame and money and how it affects your life, and I would like to go through it and discuss it, maybe give you some points on what to think about, how to approach life in general when it comes to material wealth and security.
When How I Met Your Mother first went on the air, I ran into an actress that I knew, and she said, "Are you just like so happy all the time?" I had bought into the not uncommon notion that when I taste success, when I get over there, then I'll be happy. But the strangest thing happened. As the show got more successful, I got more depressed.
So what I think that happened to Josh is that he had these aspirations and dreams about becoming a great actor, especially making it in TV, which he did. He landed a great role. And you know, when you're for so long dream about accomplishing a specific thing, your whole focus is directed towards that aim. And you don't see anything else besides going from point A to point B. You become blinded. You become too obsessed, and your goal takes over your life. And as a result, whenever you come to that destination, you realize that you haven't had time to enjoy the ride. Because life doesn't happen from point A to point B. Life happens in between. Life is the distance that we travel in order to gain a fulfillment, in order to grow personally. So as all of this fame and status and money fell onto the lap of Josh, the one thought that popped up in his head was, I have arrived. And when you reach that point in your life, it leaves emptiness. Because you've been obsessed with it so much, there's nothing more to do in life than just lay down and wither away. Because you put all your happiness onto one point in your life. Attaining, acquiring, reaching something is just a pit stop in the bigger picture.
Why am I unhappy? Okay, Stephanie GaGa hybrid person, why are you unhappy? Why is it that you want to quit music? I don't like wasting my time spending days just shaking people's hands and smiling, taking selfies. It feels shallow to my existence. I have a lot more to offer than my image. I don't like being used to make people money. I feel sad when I'm overworked and that I've just become a money-making machine, and that my passion and my creativity take a back seat. That makes me unhappy.
That happens quite a lot actually. You have probably seen a lot of YouTubers who have built up big channels, and suddenly from out of nowhere they disappear and abandon their channels, and there's just nothing more than silence. Well, besides a tumbleweed rolling around. When you combine creativity with money, it sucks the passion out of the process. And it becomes a chore. It becomes something that you do because you have to go buy. You have to put food on your table. You have to have roof over your head. You become a product that is very desirable. Many people buy you as a product. You become a vessel of entertainment. You become a vessel of fulfilling other people's needs. And it's inevitable for a time to come when you feel drained, empty, like you are this hollow shell without any substance, and you lose yourself into the nothingness. Lady GaGa exploded with her music and her original style of performance. And as she said, she disappeared. She felt that she was neglecting herself, and she had to take time, back off, regroup her thoughts, understand what she is desiring in this life, understand what she needs in this life, what matters to her.
What do you want now?
Just want to be happy.
People who have money have opportunity to own their time. And when you are in that position, the world can wait.
I thought it would be good to be rich and famous. It would be good to be the opposite of this. It would be good to have stuff. It would be good to have money. It would be good to be invited to the party. Well, I've been invited. I've been in. We're having this chat in a private Swish members club in East London. It's super cool. There's bare brick walls. Everyone's double good looking. But I've been inside now. I've seen the other side of the looking glass. It ain't fucking worth it. It's not good. It don't feed your soul. I still feel empty inside.
The funny thing is, regardless how much status and money or what kind of position we have in this life, we have the same set of feelings. We have the same set of emotional investment in what we think is of matter for us. It's the relationships, it's the connections, it's the bonds, it's the experiences that we cherish, memories that we create along the journey. And no matter who you are, your shit does stink, as do mine, as do somebody else's. The evolution have created us very similar, and all of this material exterior that we create for ourselves is just a scenery for us to have this fancy lifestyle to show off, to show a higher position in hierarchy. But the fact of the matter is that internally we have the exact same experiences.
As a Beatle, we made it, and there was nothing to do. We had money, we had fame, and there was no joy.
Money and fame won't help you. But there's another reason to why money is very important, and I cover it in this video. You're welcome to check it out.
The media told me every day, and it's telling you every day what it is to be successful. So you've got MTV Cribs, you've got billionaires in front of your face, you have these extrinsic, external goals that will say, oh, Tom Shadyac has arrived. He has the right house, the right car, he flies privately. And when I got there, it was empty.
You have to understand one radical thing. Whether you feel empty or fulfilled, it's a mind state. There's nothing else that can fulfill you, that comes externally. All of that is perception. And your perception is created here. Up here, in this bowl of goo of yours. And to create that perception, to help it faster, we have to cultivate a right frame of mind, sift through the nurturing thoughts and information, and leave the toxicity behind.
We are told that if we're beautiful, if we're skinny, if we're successful, famous, if we fit in, if everyone loves us, that we'll be happy. But that's not entirely true.
No, as I said, if you have had a childhood trauma or feel that you are constantly on a chase to get validation or affirmation or attention from other people, it means that you've been feeling lonely or unloved throughout your adolescence, and you're trying to fill that void with other people's approval, and you build up these stories in your mind on how to achieve that state of mind, whether it's attaining a very prestigious university, college, or finding a way to make it through to high society, or earning a lot of material riches. But there's nothing that will help you to escape one person that is always there for you, yourself. And if that person in the mirror is not satisfied, nothing external will help you to achieve that.
If you are looking for fame to define you, then you will never be happy, and you will always be searching for happiness, and you will never find it in fame.
It's not just about fame, it's about everything. Trying to reach happiness by external means is like giving away the key for your serenity, for the peace of mind that you're searching, to something else, to somebody else. For example, if you're in a relationship and you feel that the person completes you, makes you whole, you are putting all your money on the same horse. You know what I mean. You're putting all your savings on the same bet. And guess what happens if that horse doesn't reach the finish line first? That's right. Crisis. Existential one.
You know, I thought that all would be helped and healed and soothed by fame.
Because when I get famous,
Then I will be less lonely, and I
Yes.
will be understood, and I will be loved, and that love will go in and heal any of the broken parts. And then I came to see that it was actually quite isolating.
As the saying goes, you can feel lonely in the most crowded places. It's not the people that make you to lose that lonely feeling. It's your perception of who you are and what you contribute to your community. If you feel lonely at this point of time, putting 10 people in your room won't change that fact.
The most important journey I think all of us will go through is the journey in ourselves, to find our truth, to find who we are and what makes us happy.
I saw that if I wanted to live with myself, I was going to have to work on myself.
So what did I do? I started to say no. I'm not doing that. I don't want to do that. I'm not taking that picture. I'm not going to that event. I'm not standing by that because that's not what I stand for. And slowly but surely I remembered who I am. And then you go home and you look in the mirror and you're like, yes, I can go to bed with you every night. Because that person, I know that person. That person has balls. That person has integrity. That person has an opinion.
It's when you start to prioritize yourself, you regain your integrity, you create your values, you start to put together puzzle pieces, into building a holistic picture of who you are and what you represent and what you stand for. It's by bending those values, by bending who you are, you lose your sense of integrity. You lose yourself.
A lot of people, black, white, Mexican, young or old, fat or skinny, have a problem being true to themselves. They have a problem looking in the mirror and looking directly into their own souls. I can look directly into my face and find my soul. It's there. It's not sold. I didn't sell it. It's still within me. I still feel it. My heart is still connected to my body. There's too much money here. I mean, nobody should be hitting lotto for 36 million and we got people starving in the streets. That is not idealistic. That's just real. That is just stupid. There's no way Michael Jackson should have, or whoever Jackson, should have $1,000,000 billion and then there's people starving. There's no way.
Okay, to be honest, I understand where it is coming from, but saying that a lot of wealth, not most, shouldn't be concentrated within very few people is not seeing the whole picture. We human beings are very hierarchical. Dominance hierarchy dictates our progression, our development as civilizations. Without dominance hierarchy, there wouldn't be any civilizations to begin with. You couldn't even have the minuscule part of what we have today if we people, human beings, weren't wired in such a way that we always want to compete and become better. That's the nature of us. Let me tell you one thing. Greed contributes to the expansion of consciousness. The point where individuals fail is when they won't share with others. And it doesn't have to be specifically materialistic. It can be in any way, knowledge, material resources, service. But saying that every person should have same starting point is quite naive. Now, I don't know if that's what he meant, but I want to just point out that there's a reason why we trust politics to specific people, because leadership demands a lot of sacrifices, knowledge, wisdom, and very few are willing to go that distance in order to achieve it. Majority are followers, very few are leaders.
I would prefer a culture that didn't celebrate, exacerbate, stimulate the most negative aspects of our species, inculcate them, reward them financially, till we get to a kind of a cultural hysteria where we're destroying the planet.
I totally agree. Nowadays, every person with a mobile phone can become famous, rich, regardless if they have any kind of substance up in here. Like if you look up the most famous people on Instagram, I mean, it's not philosophers nor politicians that amass that kind of a cult following, because like attracts like. If you have invested a lot of time to cultivate a healthy mind, you are putting yourself at a position where you will be able to connect with less and less people, just so you know.
I don't believe we're these miserable animals wired to maximize self-interest. I think that actually goes against our nature and causes us a lot of pain.
As I said previously, greed is a naturalistic part of human beings. And yet again, the part where we get it wrong is when we keep everything to ourselves and refuse to share, thinking that we will be immortalized and our legacy will continue in the same manner. There is no proof of afterlife, and we all are going towards the same fate.
Darwin mentioned the word love 95 times in The Descent of Man. He mentioned survival of the fittest twice. I went through 50 years of my life on Earth before I heard that. That's insane. And I believe it comes from a culture that is humming on an insane philosophy. Got to keep everybody separate. We got to compete against each other. We got to, whoever gets the winner gets the toys and the spoils. I believe you guys are in a culture that is depressing your authenticity, your creativity. It's pitting you against each other, and it's up to you guys to birth a new culture. So, yes, it is your world, folks.
Now, it's not the competition that makes us to feel bad about ourselves and feel depressed. It's how our societies have come to portray the most famous and richest. It's easy to fit into this picture of lavish lifestyle and riches, parties, and having material wealth makes people anxious. And instead of doing something, they do nothing. They become paralyzed. But competing with each other is in our DNA. That's how we have come so far. The situation today is not about the survival of the fittest. It's about thriving of the fittest, because surviving is easy. We live in an abundant era, but it's up to us to see the truth and really direct ourselves towards thriving. With that being said, like, subscribe, tell me what you think about this. What is your opinion? But for now, Hossein out.